Shout out Sniper T on the beat.
Tamara to the break of dawn is on the rise, with life on the forefront of the mind. So line for line, you can ride this brain train and you can change your station without even touching the dial. So relax, stay a little bit, but listen for a while. And whether you're bumping this in the whip or in a business fit, it's a meeting you won't want to miss. A meeting for a meal to feed the soul with words for the mind. So sit back, enjoy the ride. Time to take off, it's time to fly. Cause Tamara till the break of dawn is on the rise.
Hey y'all, hey, it's me, Tamara. This episode is gonna be different. I don't even know what I'm gonna title it. Going back and forth in my mind on what I'm trying to I know not what I'm trying to accomplish, but where I'm gonna go with this. But I'm not doing announcements, none of that, because I just want to hurry up and get this out. And then if you watch it on YouTube, you probably not gonna see like hear the intro or all that stuff I try to add into it, because this is just something I gotta get off my chest. And last time this happened, I didn't even do a YouTube video because I was in my car recording on my phone. But this time I at least wanted to do a more closer to regular episode or whatever. But I do thank y'all for tuning in. If you're new, I normally do new episodes every Thursday. So there will be one this Thursday, but sometimes when I gotta get stuff off my chest, I just drop a bonus episode because I can do what I want because it's my show. You feel me? Today I am sipping on. Yeah, if you'll notice, this is a different cup. The lighting doesn't want to cooperate. Let's see. Bam. Relax, dream, believe. I said I have other coffee cups. I just have my favorite, and my favorite is dirty right now. Both of my favorites, actually. And so I didn't feel like doing dishes. So, because that matters to y'all, I'm sure. I actually, my coffee, some creamer. Literally, the only time I use creamer is when I do my little coffee liquor, mesh up or whatever. When I drink coffee in the morning, I drink just black coffee. But I actually got some spice rum, Bacardi or whatever. I felt like it's still rum. Rum is just my go to when I'm not trying to be fancy with all these coffee liqueurs and whatnot. But spiced rum, yeah, I like that. It makes me feel like festive. It's about to be Thanksgiving. It makes me feel like little razzle dazzles up in there, as if liquor and coffee isn't enough razzle dazzle. But I like it. I've never had spice rum before. I usually just get Bacardi, just regular clear Bacardi rum or whatever. Um, all right, so normally when I talk about stuff, I do not like I'm usually pretty vague. I usually don't be like, this is what happened in detail. And I usually do it because I'm trying to like maybe I talk to the person, but I'm trying to not, I don't know. I just do what I want to do. A lot of times I'm vague with stuff because I don't want you to get caught up in the scenario and more so focus on just kind of what I'm trying to communicate to y'all. But I'm actually going to go into details about this. I'm not going to say who. I'm going to try to keep their identity as unknown as possible, because there are those of you out there that may know this person. But I have to talk about this, and there's a point to why if I'm gonna tell my business, there's a point to it. But before I get into that, if you look, first of all, got my nails done. I don't know, it's not whatever. I got my nails done yesterday. I love my nail tech. Getting my nails done is truly self-care for me. Now I go by myself. My daughters don't go anymore, so it's just me and my nail tech. It's a way shorter appointment. And now I've gone back to excuse me, my allergies have been, it's like warmed up a little bit. And so my eyes have been itchy again. It's just, I don't know. I don't have seasonal allergies. I have, if it's not freezing, allergies. So when it's colder, um, they don't bother me. But as soon as it starts warming up a little bit, it's whatever. But anyway, sorry about that, y'all. What I like doing is I like going to my nail appointment and not knowing necessarily really what I want. It's like part of the creative process for me is maybe having an inkling of something I might want, but usually not knowing what I want and letting her kind of do her thing. Maybe there will be one thing that I see that I'm like, well, I want this as part of it as I look on her wall of stuff she'll have or whatever she has on her IG, or maybe something I saw somebody else do, and then have her kind of just do her thing. Like that makes me happy because it's like getting to watch whatever. Anyway, so I got my nails done yesterday. Such a much needed thing. Um but let me back up even further than that. Like a few days ago I had tweeted, or yeah, it was a few days ago I had tweeted, and then I had put it on my IG stories like saying, "Hey, if you could pray for me, I would appreciate it." So if you saw that, liked it, saw that, didn't react but still prayed, I definitely appreciate that. It has been, I mean, there's been a lot going on in my life, period. But I will say that the last couple of weeks, just in pretty much every realm of my life, has been hella intense, hella, it's just been a lot. So especially even Friday with like parenting, there's just, I don't know, there's just a lot going on, and I'm a single parent, and when things happen with the girls, it's like their dad is not alive. So I can't even like run stuff by anyone to be like, hey, as far as, the other parent. Now, my son lives with his dad. So, and plus he's grown. So it's a different dynamic. But it's just, there's been a lot going on, a lot of heavy stuff going on in my life. It doesn't matter what, because if it's heavy, it's heavy. If I say it's a lot going on, it's a lot going on. And so getting my nails done yesterday just really kind of much needed. And then right now my daughters are both at work, so like having this alone time is just super important for me too. But yeah, if you pray for me, I appreciate it. I also was sick, not the Rona. I honestly think it was stress because, like, when I get to certain levels of stress, if I don't relax, my body will force me to. So I'll just be drained. And so I just like slept a lot. I didn't have like any other cold symptoms or anything like that. I was just tired. Um, I don't have a fever because I have to self screen for work every day anyway. But I just know that's how my body is like when it gets like to extreme levels of stress. It's like, girl, like sit down somewhere. So today was the first day I did a workout in like a week. I tried to work out last Sunday, do my morning workout, and it was probably too soon for me to be trying to whatever. So then I just took the rest of the week off and like really, cuz it'd be like I'll go to work even, well, so not Thursday and Friday, but I would go to work. Like I remember Tuesday I went to work when I dropped the confessions episode, and that's when I was like super duper struggling. And I remember like I would like try to work a lot of last week, and I would just be so tired. And like I didn't make it through all of Tuesday, and then I made it through Wednesday, and I made it through Thursday, and I made it through Friday, but still feeling like tired. So today's the first day that I feel like, as far as energy levels, not so like drained. Like I said, I worked out and I've been able to like, I went to the store not too long ago. So I've been able to kind of like just be a little more normal. So thank you for the prayers. If you prayed, if you're a praying person, you hear this, still keep me in your prayers, good vibes, whatever you want to call it. Um, sorry. But this spiced rum though, y'all, I don't think I'm gonna go back to regular rum. I don't know if I've ever seen spice. I don't be paying attention. It's like stuff just pop up out of nowhere. But I don't think I'm gonna go back to regular rum because I just feel like for coffee anyway. That's just I like that. But yeah, if you still keep me in prayers, there's just there, man. It's so funny because my kids have all at different points. None of them want to have kids, so I'll probably never be a grandma. And I am not tripping. I don't blame them because this world is crazy. And it's kind of like, I'm not one of those, I want to be a grandma. I got to have some grandkids. No, if you don't want to have kids, I feel you. Parenting is hard. I know my mom probably would say the same thing about parenting me, but um yeah, so if you could just if you're a praying person, that's just one part of what's going on in my life, but I don't really want to talk about I don't even want to talk about that cuz that's not why I brought y'all here and I definitely don't want to talk about the rest of what's going on. Okay, so if you're not new, you know that for months as far back as the summer for sure, but probably before that, I just can't really fully remember what the hell I've talked about when on this show. But I know that if you've been listening for a while, you know that I have been maybe for the entire length of the show reflecting on my friendships, reflecting on relationships. When I talked about the trauma bonds not too long ago, just realizing like the relational dynamics that I've had with most of my friendships, how I just realized they're not healthy for me anymore. I even like wrote a blog about it to kind of like go more in detail because and there's probably going to be a blog that's going to follow this episode actually because talking about it helps me kind of at least figure out what I feel, but writing is when I can write it more concisely. um so yeah, there's probably going to be a blog that's going to follow this as well. Actually, I'm like 100% confident that my next blog that'll drop the first will be kind of tied to this episode. Is it always going to be like that? I don't know. Who knows? Blogging and podcasting together, I ain't never did this before, so we going to see what happens. But I can only give anybody on any platform or medium or whatever the hell it's called, I can only give y'all what I got, and this is where I'm at right now. So you know that I have been kind of like thinking about relationships and friendships and all that for like a while because I just have been in my head a lot because I have spent a lot of time pretty much alone. This was before the pandemic because for whatever reason I've just had this season. I can't even think about how far back it's gone where I've become more and more detached from friendships and relationships that have been there for a long time to where like we really don't talk at all outside of social media, and even that is even becoming less and less because I don't really like Facebook, and it's more so the election season that made me really start disliking Facebook, like what I would see on there. So I don't really get on Facebook like that, and when I do, it's usually to promote my podcast. I might try to throw a meme out there every now and then, or I'll say, I hope y'all have a good day, whatever. Because I do care about the people, because that's like family and friends or whatever that I've known for a while or whatever. So, like, I care about them, but it's not as interactive. I don't know. I don't really like Facebook. So, even saying that I interact with people on social media, is even weird because is even becoming less and less because I don't. And but I've always been the kind of person that people could kind of come and go in my life as they please, and I never act any different towards you. It doesn't matter if I haven't talked to you in a month, a year, whatever. It's always been that you've had the same place with me in my life. And then, as you know, if you've been listening, I've been saying how that's not healthy for me. And if you've been listening, then you know that I've been saying that I realized that a lot of these friendships were built off of like some of no a lot of them especially friendships that I've built in my adult life were built off of us sharing similar experiences that we've been through. I defined it as trauma bonds, even though that's not the clinical definition of it or whatever. And I went a little more in depth with it in my blog. So you should like go there if you want to, because I'm not trying to rehash stuff I already talked about. I'm just trying to like remind y'all so that you can understand whatever. So let's talk about what happened yesterday. But let's go back to Friday real quick. Friday, hold on. I'm not about to cry on here. That's why I don't want to talk about stuff. Friday with parenting is probably one of the hardest days I've had. And it's not because my kids did anything wrong. And I'll just leave it there. And so this is the head. I've already been in this different type of headspace when it comes to relationships. I already have a lot of stuff that I am just trying to walk through and navigate, and I'm having to compartmentalize things. And I have a friend that she's checking in with me and asking me how I'm doing, and I keep saying like, or I'll wait to respond to her, or I'll say, I don't really want to talk about it because it's like I'm trying to almost like not open Pandora's box, you know what I mean? And so I don't want to talk about whatever, but I just kind of need y'all to understand where I was at Saturday. So Friday was probably the hardest day in parenting that I've probably ever had. Emotionally, I guess we'll say. And so then Saturday, what did I do Saturday? Got my nails done, so it was a good whatever. I did stop by my mom's house on the way there, so I saw her for a little bit, and then came home or whatever. And I got this text message from somebody, and as I said, I normally don't give y'all details, but this time I am going to, and this is my show, and if I'm what's the word, talking to y'all about the foolishness that I'm going through and the ways that I'm trying to grow as it says in my show bio, or if I'm letting y'all ride my train of thought as my old intro used to say, then sometimes it's going to call for giving you play by play on a scenario. And if the person this involves happen to hear it, I hope that after you listen to the rest of this episode, you understand why I was responding the way I was responding and understand like where I was coming from. Okay, so hold on, let me take another sip. All right, so I got a text message where it started off like, hey, just kind of wanted to see how you, I'm not gonna like read it, I'm not gonna be that, whatever. So I'm just gonna try to whatever. Just kind of like just wanted to see how you're doing. The last few text messages when I reached out to you, you didn't respond. I know you get busy, but I just wanted to like whatever. I forget how it ended, whatever. So remember that they said the last few times I tried to check in with you. Now, Let me tell you one thing I will never do on this show. And one thing I just don't do in general is I'm not about to lie to y'all and tell y'all something that it wasn't. Okay. So these are the last 3 text messages that I got from this person. The first text message that I got from this person was in August, where in August, this person asked me if they could use me for a reference for their job that they were trying to get. So I was like, and they asked for my email address. So I was like, all right, cool. And I gave them my email address. Okay, so that was all that the text message said. The next text message was, I want to say September. And the only reason I don't know exactly the date of that text message is because I actually had to delete this text message from my phone because I knew I wasn't going to respond to it. But if it stayed there for me to see, and I remember I almost cried after I deleted it and like felt really bad and called a friend to kind of talk about whatever. But anywho, they text me. So we'll say it was like September. And I feel like it was because I remember that was when there was a whole bunch going on with my youngest daughter. And there's still a whole bunch going on, but it was just like, whew, excuse me, there's just a lot. It's just a lot, but there was a lot going on with her, and it was kind of the beginning of a lot going on with her. So it was like a more shocking whatever. And then, I mean, hell, a pandemic or whatever. But okay, let me stay on tack. Okay, so they text me. They asked me if I could write them a reference letter for a job. Now, if you go back to, there's an episode where I'm actually going to look up what episode it is because then I'll actually know when this happened. Hold on. Walking in My Truth, September. Yep, I knew I wasn't tripping. So in this episode, that's when I start talking about where I'm at in with relationships. So I'm like giving y'all receipts and all that so that it's November 22nd as I'm recording this. So I've been on this. I just haven't had to have these conversations with any of these people that were in my mind when I was thinking about and processing certain things and realizing the dynamics of friendships that I have. But in that, I allude to someone, if I'm not mistaken, asking me to do something and me not wanting to do it because of what I had going on and this, that, and the other. Okay, so there was a lot going on with my youngest. There has been a lot going on with my youngest. And I'm just going to leave it at that. So plus there's a lot going on with podcasting. There was a lot going on with work. If I'm not mistaken, the text message came during like there's a busier time frame of work. And I never used to be the kind of person who things made me feel too anxious to where I don't know how to respond and just ignore things. I never used to be like that until life just became a lot more than, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's 2020. Like, really, do I really need a reason to do what's best for me? No. So I just didn't respond. Maybe I should have. I don't know. I feel like if you're not Devon, Kayleon, or Janae, if I'm honest, and anybody that hears this, podcasters, you already know this ain't got nothing to do with y'all because y'all don't have these type of expectations for me and this, that, and the other. Y'all shouldn't because y'all don't know me like that. I ain't known none of y'all a year yet. But if anybody that I've known for a while hears this and feels like I owe you something because I've known you for a long time, as long as we've been friends or whatever, please remove that from your mind because, again, if you're not Devon, Kayleon, and Janae, with where I'm at right now in life, I don't owe you anything. Those are the only 3 people that I am obligated to explain myself to, that I am obligated to respond, that if I don't respond to them which is kind of rare. I will apologize or I will tell them why I didn't respond. Those are the only 3 people that I owe that type of loyalty. That's the only 3 people that I have the capacity to have that type of loyalty right now. And there's nothing wrong with that because those are my kids. The rest of y'all are grown adults. The rest of y'all, I don't even talk to like that. So, but I actually felt bad about not responding because that is not me. Normally, usually I do whatever people ask me to do if I'm honest, but it was just for me, everything is just a lot, you know what I mean? And so even the fact that I don't want to talk about what's going on, like to people that are asking me, that should tell people that, man, something is different with her because I'm usually a lot more vocal or I'm usually whatever. So I didn't respond. And then the next text message I got from them was Monday of last week, where they were telling me about some business they were starting. So those are the 3 text messages that I got. That's the only text messages that I got. Like I said, that one I deleted, and I had to delete it because it was just there in my text thread, and seeing it was like giving me anxiety. And like, I've never been a person that really, and maybe it's because I used to always numb my pain. So who knows what life would have been like if I wasn't trying to numb whatever I was feeling. I don't know. But I've never been a person that things just brought me anxiety. And so I just deleted it so I didn't have to see it and kind of, whatever. Okay. So gave you that background because I told you the 3 text messages. Did y'all hear where any text message was, hey, how y'all doing? Okay. So text me saying, hey, I've been trying to check in, but you haven't responded. No, I haven't. If you had tried to check in, I probably would have responded. But the text messages that I got were, you needed something from me. And it was something that it was just too much for me to do. Or are you telling me about your business? I mean, okay, no, and I don't mean that in a shady way, but I'm just saying because if I'm honest, because let's go here. We won't go there yet. Okay. So I said, hey, the last few text messages I got from you, if I'm honest, they didn't sound like you were checking in on me. You said this time I responded, you said this, and then you said that. I have a lot going on, so I'm selective about what I respond to. That's with anybody. Sometimes I don't respond to my mom and she's not even asking me stuff. I just have a lot going on and it just, I don't know. And so she was like, I don't fully remember, and I don't want to be as petty as to read the actual text messages verbatim. Somebody out there probably wants me to, but I don't want to do that. So I'm just going to say, basically, in her response to me, she was like saying like, well, I have messages of me checking in on y'all, and if you didn't want to do this, that was fine, but what I don't like, she didn't say I don't like, I forget how she worded it, that you didn't respond because I wouldn't have just not responded. And I was trying not to, because again, remember, like I just said earlier, the day before was literally the worst day in parenting. I had to call a friend of mine. There's literally one friend. Actually, that's not true because there's no one in my life that knows everything that's going on. There's not one person that can say that because there's just stuff I don't talk to. But there's been this one friend, and it's the same friend I called when I didn't respond to her text message, that I called him to talk to him about what I was going through with parenting or whatever. And so remember that I have a lot going on right now. Like just a few days ago, besides being sick, I'm up here on social media asking for prayer because I'm not okay. I'm in a confessions episode telling people how I'm not okay. So, like, that's the headspace I'm in when I'm getting these text messages where, okay, so my response was, because I'm trying to like just tell the story first before I talk about how it made me feel and the point of me even telling y'all this. So my response was, well, I don't know. Well, those are the only messages I got, so I don't know what to tell you. Because I was trying not to respond in a way that was going to be something I will regret saying, because I was a little irritated at the fact that I said I have a lot going on. And this person is someone that I've been friends with for a long time that should know, number one, there's never been a time ever that she's ever texted me asking me to do anything for her and I didn't respond. So the fact that I didn't, maybe when I said I had a lot going on, maybe at that point you should have been like, well, hey, what's going on? Instead of just focusing on, you're mad that I didn't do what you wanted me to do or I didn't respond. So then she responded, like I said, I was like, that's all I got. I don't know what to tell you. And she's like, you don't have to say anything. Basically, like, you should have told me you couldn't do it because, like, I would have respected that. I'm sorry. I would have respected that, but I don't like the fact that you didn't respond, whatever. And I was just like, again, no. I said, it's crazy that in all of this, I said the reason I didn't respond is because I have a lot going on. Yet you're more focused on the fact that I didn't do something that you needed me to do. So you're right. It is what it is. Because whatever her last text message, it ended with, it is what it is. Then she came back with another long paragraph. And then this is when she said basically like she would have respected it. I'm sorry. I'm going to get there. She would have respected it more if I would have responded and told her I couldn't do what she needed me to do or whatever. Like, she wouldn't have done that. So basically, because she wouldn't have not responded, that's, I guess, how I was supposed to be, regardless of what I was going on. That again, she still has not asked me, hey, what's going on? And what I responded with, so I could get this part over, so I could get into how I feel, is I was just like, again, you're still just focused on the fact that I didn't do what you needed me to do. You don't have to respect what I did, but I'm not going to feel bad about it. And then at that point, because I wasn't about to keep going back and forth with her, because she kept saying stuff and be like, but never mind. Nigga, if it's but never mind, why did you send this whole paragraph and then say, but never mind? Or, well, I get send this whole thing and be like, well, I guess I'll leave, but I'll leave it alone. Why did you send that whole, you typed all that out. It's not like you said it. You typed all that out, you hit send, and then you say, but I'm gonna leave it alone. I don't play those type of games. I don't like, first of all, I don't even usually get into it with people. I'm the kind of person that I just kind of say what it is, and either you respect it or you don't, but I'm not about to go back and forth with you. You know what I mean? So I was like, I blocked her from my phone. I blocked her on Facebook. I blocked her on Instagram, and I blocked her on Twitter. And here's why I did this. Number one, now I can get into how I feel. I know what I'm going through. You don't know what I'm going through. You don't. But not once in this did you ask me, well, hey, what's going on? You're bringing up the fact of how long we've been friends and how I should have done this, that, and the other, and how I should have responded the way you responded. Basically, that's the way I'm gonna take it, because you said I wouldn't have not responded. I wouldn't have not responded. Okay, me and you have never been the same person. And if you happen to listen to this, you know we've never been the same person. That's been usually one of the beautiful things about our friendship that has been said, is that we are different. So one thing people should know about me is that, number one, I don't usually say things or act off of emotion. So if I actually took the time to say, hey, I'm being selective about what I respond to because I'm going through a lot, I'm an overthinker. So that means even before I sent that text message, I thought about what is going to happen if I send it? What is the response going to be? Because you know, is it worth me sending this? So I've had a lot of thought right before I send it. But before I came to this conclusion of where I'm at with friendships, I've thought a lot about it. As y'all listeners know, I've talked about it on this show. If a friendship is not mutually beneficial, I'm just not investing into it as deeply. Does that mean I dislike you? No, it just means that I'm not jumping. I don't jump for anyone if it's not Kayliana, Janae, or Devon. And even some stuff I can't jump for them because it's just not realistic. You know what I mean? But any grown adult, I ain't got no man, I ain't got no husband, I ain't got none of that. My mama don't ask me for nothing, my siblings don't ask me for nothing. And even if they did, it would depend on what it was if I was going to jump for it, because I have a lot going on. But my issue, because there was some saltiness because of their job. Mind you, I don't know if this is a job they wanted a letter for, but I know that me not writing this letter did not stop them from getting a job, because I saw on social media at whatever point they got a job. So you still have a job. So I don't understand why you're upset about the letter, especially when I'm telling you, hey, I got a lot going on. That's number one. There was some saltiness because the business that they're promoting, they felt like that shouldn't have been something selective that I responded to. Okay. Now I'm about to really go here for a minute. I've had a podcast for a year, over a year. I posted on Facebook multiple times per week. Ask yourself, if you happen to listen to this, and normally my episodes don't be like this, but it just is what it is. And there's a point to all of this later. But if you happen to listen to this, or anybody else this may apply to, ask yourself, have you shared one podcast post of mine? Ask yourself, you've liked merchandise posts that I've posted on Instagram or Facebook or whatever. Have you bought any merchandise from me? Have you done that? I don't know if you listen or not. You probably don't listen. Have you done any of that? But you're mad because I tell you I'm going through something and I'm selective about what I respond to. And instead of asking, hey, what's going on? Because that's not normally how I am. You keep telling me how I should have responded. Make that make sense. So that's why I blocked her, because I wasn't about to keep going back and forth. And I'm the kind of person that my social media is going to be social. I'm not one of those people where I'm like, oh, I want them to watch me. No, I don't want to. And it's not even about, I don't want them to watch me. I don't want to see your stuff. Like, I've made this decision when I blocked you that, and it's so crazy because I don't block people, I don't whatever, but when I do, it's very rare. I won't say I never do, but when I do, it's usually, and this could be my mama, and my mom could testify if she ever came on the show. There was a time, I might have talked about this on here before, where I didn't talk to my mom for a few months because we were trying to have a conversation. We couldn't see eye to eye, and I'll just leave it there. And I told her, hey, this ain't good for me. our relationship is not what it needs to be, so I'm not going to talk to you for a while. And my mom respected that, because one thing anybody should know about me that actually knows me, and you probably could tell by listening if you've been listening for a while, is regardless of what I talk about I'm going through, I'm usually very calm. I'm usually very what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know, I guess calm. I'm usually very thoughtful about how I communicate, even when I'm talking about my ex-husband being killed, and whatever I've ever talked about, that's how I am, period. For the most part, I'm very just, I like to be chill. I feel things very, very deeply, but I'm not a very I don't know, I can't explain it, but y'all know what I mean if you know me. So usually when I make decisions, one, I've considered a lot, so it's very rare that you can usually talk me out of it, because usually whatever if I know it's what's best for me, for my emotional health, for my mental health, for whatever, then I'm going to go with it. So when I made that decision that what I was going through was too much to, and it wasn't just you that I didn't respond to, you're just the only one who texts me to reach out. There's could be probably others that if they ever ask me, and I've always said this in the episodes where I've talked about my relationships, like, hey, if you have questions and if you want to know whatever, reach out to me, and I will tell you. But the thing about it is I'm going to say the truth. I'm not going to sugarcoat nothing, and that's how I've always been. It's just I don't usually have to say stuff like this. You know what I mean? I don't I can't think of, there's very few people that I ever have like fell out with, like block and do all that, especially this particular relationship. You know what I mean? But I just kind of felt like, hey, I'm telling you I'm going through a lot and you worried about you. But you got a job. You told me about your business, but me not responding to a text message ain't stopping your business. So if you're just mad that I didn't respond, let's look back through our friendship, because there have been times, not me asking for anything, because to be honest, I don't really ask for much from this particular person, or the people that I ask stuff from usually are people like maybe a mentor or my mom or my dad, or I don't usually really ask my friend maybe a ride when one of my cars was broken down or whatever. I don't be asking people for stuff like that because I don't like asking people for stuff. But like my mom and my dad, my stepdad, not my bio dad, obviously, those are safe people that I'm like, okay, I feel comfortable and I feel safe. I don't know if safe is the word, but kind of, yeah, because my pride doesn't let me. Sometimes my pride gets in the way of wanting to be that vulnerable to let somebody know that I need them or whatever. So I'll admit that, you know what I'm saying? I admit my flaws freely. So like, but my parents, they've my whole life has been dependent on them in some kind of way or whatever. So it's like that's to be expected. But I don't, but there have been times when maybe I text or called throughout our friendship to hang out or check in or whatever. Those are things that are important to me. It is important to me to feel connected to my friends. When people didn't respond, when this person didn't respond because they had whatever going on, and then they told me whenever we talked later in life why they didn't respond, I was just like, oh. And then furthermore, what I know about me is, had the shoe been on the other foot to where I was upset because you didn't respond to what I needed or whatever. First of all, if I still got whatever job, or if you not responding didn't stop me from doing what I would have did, first of all, I personally wouldn't have been upset. That's me. But Just like she can't expect me to move how she moves, I can't expect her to move how I move. But furthermore, let's keep going down this. If I would have texted you and it would have been like that, and you would have been like, "Hey, I've been going through a lot," blah blah blah, especially knowing that you not doing the letter didn't stop me from getting the job. What I would have done is I would have been like, "Hey, what's going on?" Because you telling me that something like you're going through a lot to me would have been more important than me being upset because you didn't do what I wanted you to do. But that's not how that went. Not at one point during that was I asked, "Hey, what's going on?" And when I never, I kind of wanted to be like, "Damn, nigga, you ain't even at," but I'm like, "Nope, I'm gonna let you do you. I'm gonna let you do how you want to do," because just like she said, we've been friends long enough that in my mind, you should have asked me what's going on, but you didn't. So obviously, what was going on with me was not more important or wasn't as important as me not responding to some text messages, 3 text messages in the history of our friendship, because I'm usually the person who always responds to everything at all times. But I knew when I made this decision in my mind, I knew, and this is the point of me bringing this up. So we're going to segue away from this. When you make it up in your mind something, especially when it comes to being healthy, excuse me, even like physical health, I made it in my mind. I'm on this Snatched 40s journey. Shout out to my accountability person who he stays on me. He encourages me even when I like confess that I messed up on the things I'm not supposed to be doing or whatever. So shout out to him. But what I know is when I make it up in my mind that I want to do something, I get tested on whether I'm really about that life, to where yeah, I slip up, like I said, I didn't work out for a week because not feeling good or whatever. But today I worked out. Then and one of the things he told me yesterday, because I texted him, the only thing he said to me when I asked him if he'd be my accountability person as far as like dieting and stuff was just like, "Hey, can you stay away from fast food?" And I'm like, "All right, cool." So it's not like I eat recklessly anyway, but anytime I would want to get fast food, that would be in the back of my mind that that was specifically the thing that he said don't do. So I wouldn't eat fast food. But then Friday and yesterday, stress, don't feel good, whatever, I did. And so I told him. And one of the things he said was, he was like, don't quit or something like that. And he was like, "It's okay, we all fall off." The don't quit, that's the point of this, is that of course when I'm saying I want to be on this Snatch 40 journey, there's going to be things that are going to happen to try to stop me from being in this journey, because anything worth having, which my pastor said this in the message I watched online earlier, is that anything worth having is not going to be necessarily easy to get. So of course there's going to be things that is going to come in the way, but as my accountability person said, but don't quit. So just because I messed up and I had fast food Friday and Saturday doesn't mean, oh, I just give up and, oh, I guess I effed up all the way and I can't do it. So then let's bring it to the whole this thing with my friend. I've been saying where I'm at with relationships, that they need to be mutually beneficial, that relationships that I feel like maybe the season of us being super close or whatever has ended, and I no longer want to be the kind of person that people can just come in and out whenever they whatever. That's just not healthy for me. I've said that on this show. So when I say these things and I put it out in the universe or the atmosphere or whatever you call it, of course I'm going to be tested on it. I've also said on this show that if anybody was to text or call me and ask me questions about whatever, I was going to be honest. So of course I'm going to be tested on that. So that's my encouragement. And the point of all of this, the point of this is not to be petty. You know what I mean? It's, I've been talking to you about things in my life this just happens to be an area, so I kind of had to be a little bit more detailed so you could whatever. But my encouragement to you is that whatever goal you have it in your mind, be it with relationships, be it your mental health, be it spiritual, physical, whatever, you are going to be tested on whether you're really about that life. Sometimes you may pass the test. I personally would say, even though I may never talk to this person again, I don't know. I just know I had to block them because I need that separation. That's what I need. You know what I mean? And as I said, however many, whatever episodes, I got to do what's best for me. So I had to be tested on that. Am I really about that life? I got to really whatever. So in my mind, I passed because I advocated for myself. I've literally never had to have a conversation with anyone like that because I've always just done what people needed. I've always been all things to all people as much as I realistically could. You're going to be tested on whatever. There may come another time where maybe I don't pass the test, or I don't do what's best for me and I do what's best for somebody or whatever. But does that mean that all of a sudden I just fully go all the way back to the unhealthiness? No. You know what I'm saying? Be true to yourself. Be true to what is best for you. Never, because like I said at the end of the text message with her, I don't feel bad. Like I felt bad, but I didn't feel bad for doing what was best for me. I felt bad because of how it may be taken by her. You know what I mean? Me knowing I've never like not whatever, like been there for somebody or did what they needed or whatever. That's what I felt bad. I didn't feel bad about putting myself first. Never, ever, 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 ever feel bad about putting yourself first when you're trying to protect your peace. Also, you don't have to explain yourself to anyone. You can, but that is a courtesy. That is not a requirement. That's another thing, man. It should have just been like, okay, you had a lot going on. I understand. Not, well, I get it, but you should have did this. Nah, man, I don't have to move how you move. I never have. And you know that. You don't got to move how other people move. You don't got to do what people want, how they want you to do it. You got to be true to you. You got to be true to you. You got to be true to you because you will be miserable. Like, this was I'm not like happy about the way the conversation went. You know what I'm saying? It's unfortunate, but I would have felt worse if I would have folded on what was best for me. You know what I'm saying? I would have felt worse if I would have been like, "Oh, you're right. I should have did this how you wanted me to do it," even though that's obviously not what I wanted to do. Cuz let's be real. Again, if you're a parent, the only people and let's say you're a single parent, the only people that you are obligated to is your children. You are not obligated to anybody else. If you're not a parent, or if you're a parent with a spouse or a significant other or whatever, those are the people that you're obligated to. If it's just you, you ain't gotta worry about nobody else but you. And I don't say that in a don't care about people way, because y'all know I care. I wouldn't even be doing this podcast really if I didn't care about other people, because I don't have to share my life and share my flaws unless I care about, like, dang, maybe this person could not go through what I went through or whatever. I care about people. I do for people. I love people. But you should already know that. But here's the thing. If doing for others is toxic to you, and that's going to look different for everybody. Like, to somebody listen to this, they might be like, well, why couldn't you? Because it's not what was good for me. You know what I mean? But there may be something else where if you feel like something was toxic for you to do, and I'm like, oh, why couldn't you know what I'm saying? Like, we're all different, so what's good for you is good for you, and what's toxic for you is toxic for you. That's why I don't ever usually give specific examples, because I don't ever want you to get distracted by the story and like the specific things in my life to where it's not applicable to your life. But I felt it important to share this, mainly because I talked about, I like alluded to this before. If you go back to that Walking in My Truth episode, I'm pretty sure I did. But if I didn't say it specifically, that's one of the things I was talking about. Like, I can assure you of that because I remember the mind frame I was in when I recorded that episode, and the mind frame that I've been in for months as I've been talking about it on this show. So it was important this time to give y'all a specific example, because I've been talking about this stuff and it's kind of like you're going to be tested. So that's my encouragement to you. It's hard, it's uncomfortable. It's like, I'm not happy about it. You know what I'm saying? This is somebody who's been a friend for a while, and at where it stands right now, I don't know if I'll ever talk to her again, because I mean, as of now, I blocked her because I wasn't about to keep going back and forth, because I just don't understand why anyone would feel like I am obligated to explain myself to anyone other than Devon, Kayleon, and Janae. And if you're not them, I might give you an explanation as a courtesy. I didn't even have to, like, real talk, I didn't even have to respond to that text message, because I didn't know it was going to get to the point of me feeling like, man, I'm not about to be having you keep trying to tell me what I should have did. You know what I'm saying? I didn't think it would get to the point of me blocking her, but I knew it wasn't going to be received well. But the truth hurts, but it sets you free. And I feel like I'm not like happy about what happened, but it's just like, hey, it is what it is, because our friendship has already been like, we didn't really talk anyway. So it's like if I'm honest, like, me blocking her is no different than me not blocking her, because we didn't talk anyway. It's not like my day-to-day life is going to be affected by me blocking her off my phone and off of social media. So it's kind of like, when you think about it like that, if you happen to listen to this, hopefully now you understand, I guess, where I was coming from. And if you still don't, nothing but the best of luck to you in life and whatever, because we obviously just ain't gonna see eye to eye, and it just is what it is. Just because somebody was a certain person in your life for a season does not always mean it's lifetime. My best friend that has been was my best friend since like the 8th grade. I haven't talked to her in 5 years, and I don't know why. Like, I don't know if I did something. I don't know if it's she's going through whatever. All I know is the last time I talked to her was a couple days after Jamel was killed, and she was like, whoop de woo, I'm gonna check on you, I'm gonna this, that, and the other, and I haven't heard from her since. So that was the one person in my life who, if you want to say like a day one, that was my day one. So um anybody outside of that that friendship ending, basically, I guess, because you know I'll probably never talk to her again either. That friendship ending taught me that not everybody is a lifetime friendship. And then friendships that have, like, a really good friend that I talk to now, that I've known her since the 7th grade, but throughout our adult life after we graduated high school, we kind of just talked on and off. Not because of, like, I don't usually fall out with people. Usually it's just life and busyness. And now she and I talk almost every day, almost ish. Not every day, but several times a week for sure. But she and I just reconnected 3 years ago on that level. We're 40 now. You know what I mean? So it's like what I understand about life is seasons change, needs change, relationships, dynamics shift or go away or whatever. It's all a part of life. It's all a part of growth. It's uncomfortable, but it's also a beautiful thing because bringing it back to the podcast community, what I will say is I have met literally some of the dopest people in the podcast community that have supported my show, have supported my blog, even if it's just retweeting whatever, which to me, that stuff is important. But also, I've made friends that like, I've talked to them about different things like beyond podcasting, you know what I'm saying? Or we laugh or we joke or we whatever, you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like my other reminder is don't have this no new friends mindset. And I've said that before on here because sometimes that will keep you stagnant and you will miss out on the blessing of what you could have if you did let somebody know in. So I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here because we coming up on an hour and I feel like I've gotten everything out. Um, as always, make sure you take care of your mental health, your emotional health, your spiritual health, your physical health. Mask up, you know what I'm saying? Wear a mask when you're out here in these streets. I mean, I'm not going to tell you to stay home because people going to do what they want to do, as we clearly can see. But wear a mask. It's about to get into like flu season and all that anyway. And if I'm honest, wearing it like I pretty much only like go maybe to the store or the laundromat or take the kids to work. But wearing a mask in the colder weather is like now in the summer it was horrible, but in the colder weather it's not that bad. And then on Instagram, and maybe I'll put the link to this in my episode notes. The episode notes is going to be whatever it's going to be. But I saw one night I couldn't sleep and I saw this breathe right, this kind of like thing that you put over like under your mask and it goes around your nose and mouth and it basically like pushes the mask away cuz like my masks cuz I have multiple masks, they like when I breathe it in and out or whatever, it like goes in or whatever. And when I put this thing under it, it's like it doesn't do that. It's like this plastic thing or whatever. I got a pack of 5 for I don't know, like $20 or something. Seen it on the Instagram. So put a mask on, you know what I'm saying? Take care of yourself. Be safe out here in these streets. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on even in my city. Like the police killed somebody a couple days ago. Yesterday there was like an active shooter at Sonic that I think killed 2 and wounded 2, and um stuff like that doesn't necessarily happen in the city that so yeah, in the city that I live in. I can't think of a time I've remember that happening. And I know there's a lot of stuff going on just across the country too that I've seen either on Twitter or news pop-ups or whatever. So like be safe. Tell your people that you love them and all that good stuff, which sounds like something crazy to say after I just talked about how I cut somebody off. But here's the other piece. You got to protect your peace. And whatever that looks like, 2020, if nothing else, should tell you that it's a lot going on. And yes, try to reconcile stuff or whatever. So I'm not saying, oh, I'll never talk to this person. But sometimes there does need to be a separation period. Is it going to be forever? Only time will tell. But if people are not respecting your boundaries and respecting what you're going through and you trying to do what's best for you to protect your peace and whatever, you might have to cut them off. And it be like that sometimes. It is what it is. So that's all I got for y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here. Let me think, is that everything? I mean, yeah, I ain't about to say no other announcements, and I ain't got nothing else for y'all. So I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here. Bye.
Ladies and gents, this concludes transmission. Tune in next time for a whole new edition. Another adventure and mission to share, be heard, and clarify the vision of this whole new world for...